I'm going to keep the intro very short in this video. You know what you're here for, tips for the iPad. And I reckon I've got 10 in this video that despite the iPad being out for years now, most people don't know. Okay, let's get into it. If you go into settings and choose multitasking and gestures and make sure that split view and slide over is enabled, let me show you probably the easiest way to make use of split view. So what I might do is open Safari, and you can see that Safari takes up the entirety of my iPad display. Then let's say I want to quickly play some music using Apple Music. I'd swipe up gently from the bottom to bring up the dock, then go to my app library. Once I've found the music app, I'm going to long press on the icon and just drag it over to the left-hand side of the screen and let go. You'll now see that I've got full access to the entire music app in a little iPhone-style window here on the left-hand side. I could also drag that over to the right if I prefer it there instead. Then I might decide that I want to quickly check my email. I'd go back to the dock, long press on the mail icon and drag it over to the same space. Now I've got the mail app open as well. What people don't necessarily realize is that both apps, music and mail, are stacked here on top of Safari. To switch between them, swipe up for just a second like you would if you were using the app switcher on your iPhone. Then just tap on the one that you want to bring to the front. When you're done with an app, tap the three dots at the top, choose close, and you'll go back to just having Safari open. If you're someone who already uses multitasking in Safari on your iPad, you'll know that tapping the three dots at the top of the screen shows all of your open Safari windows along the bottom, and you can swipe between them or swipe up to close any that you're done with. But if you accidentally swipe up and close a window that still had a bunch of tabs that you were using, there is a way to get it back, even though it's not immediately obvious. All you need to do is come out of Safari and long press on the Safari icon, whether that's in your dock or on your home screen. From the menu that appears, tap Show All Windows. In the top left corner of the screen, you'll see a plus button and a Reopen Closed Windows button. Tap this and your recently closed Safari windows will reopen, including the one that you just accidentally closed, tabs and all. By the way, if you've got an iPhone and you enjoy tips videos like these, you should definitely check out my training hub, iPhone Essentials Plus. It's more than 150 lessons, each one with a short video, step-by-step guide, and downloadable PDF. If you want to know more, scan the QR code on screen or check the link in the description. You probably already know that you can create quick notes on your iPad. I've got mine set up so that swiping up from the bottom right corner, either with my finger or my Apple Pencil, creates a brand new quick note ready to go. But did you know that once the quick note is open, you can use two fingers to pinch out, just like you would with a photo, and the quick note will expand in size. On something like the 11-inch iPad, this can make the quick note take up almost half of the screen. If you want to shrink it back down again, just pinch in with two fingers, and then you can drag the quick note to any of the four corners of your display, so you can position it exactly where you want while you're working. If your iPad supports the Apple Pencil Pro and you've got one, there's a feature you might not be making the most of. You probably already know that you can double tap near the tip of the pencil to trigger an action, and you can change what that action does. Just go into Settings, tap on Apple Pencil, then under the Action section, tap into Double Tap and choose what you want it to do, like show the color palette, switch to the eraser, or bring up the last tool that you used. But if you tap back, you'll also see something called Squeeze. This does exactly what it sounds like. You gently squeeze near the bottom of the pencil, and you'll feel a subtle haptic tap to confirm that it's worked. All the same options from Double Tap are available here too, but Squeeze adds something extra, Shortcut. Tap into this, and you can pick from any shortcut that you've created on your iPad. So for example, you might assign it to launch a voice chat with ChatGPT, create a new note in the Notes app, or even begin recording a voice memo with a single squeeze. And because it's tied into the Shortcuts app, you can set it to trigger pretty much anything, making the Apple Pencil Pro far more powerful than just a drawing and writing tool. If you're anything like me, you probably use your iPad for just about everything: streaming, browsing, reading, even the occasional bit of work. And if that's the case, then keeping your iPad screen in top shape should be a no-brainer. That's why I use Paperlike Screen Protector. Big thanks to them for sponsoring today's video. Unlike other screen protectors, Paperlike Screen Protector actually enhances the iPad experience. The matte finish cuts down on glare, which is perfect for outdoor use. And while the new M4 iPad Pro has Apple's nano texture display to help with glare, that doesn't provide any extra texture or feedback when you're using the Apple Pencil. That's where Paperlike shines. Its proprietary nanodots, tiny microbeads built into the surface, add just enough resistance to mimic the feeling of writing on paper, giving you improved control and haptic feedback without damaging your Apple Pencil tip. And importantly, all of that comes without sacrificing image quality. Colors still look vibrant and the screen stays sharp and clear. Paperlike also offers a great range of accessories, from folio cases to cleaning kits, and everything ships with a 100-day satisfaction guarantee. Follow the link in the description of the video to get your Paperlike screen protector today. A question I get all the time on my YouTube videos these days is, how are you supposed to scan a QR code when that QR code is actually showing in a video on the device you're watching it on? So for example, if the QR code is showing on your TV and you're holding your iPad, that's really easy. You can just scan the code using your iPad camera. But what happens if the code is showing in a video that you're watching on your iPad and the iPad is the only device that you have available? The answer is actually really simple. All you do is pause the video at the point where the QR code is showing and make sure the code is clearly visible on screen. Then take a screenshot. You can do that by pressing the volume up and the power button together, or if you're like me, you can swipe up from the bottom left corner of the screen to take a screenshot. When the screenshot appears, look at the menu bar at the top of the screen and you'll see a live text button. Tap on this and the QR code is considered part of the live text. Tap on that and the QR code will open right away in Safari. If the feature is supported in your country and language, there was a feature added to iPadOS 18 called Safari Highlights. This essentially scans the web page that you're viewing and pulls out important information like an address or phone number and then presents it in a typical Apple fashion, saving you from having to browse around a website when all you want to do is give the business a call or quickly navigate to their location. To make use of this, you'll first need to enable Highlights. Go into Settings, choose Apps, then tap on Safari. Scroll almost all the way to the bottom of the page, and in the Privacy and Security section, you'll see an option called Highlights. Toggle this on. Then when you're on a website in Safari, you might notice the Safari Options button to the left of the address bar has a couple of stars on it. That's Safari's way of letting you know that there are highlights available on this page. Tap on that, and anything relevant will show up. The amount and quality of the highlights will vary depending on your region and the website that you're on, but in general, I've used this a few times to quickly get location information for a business or grab a phone number without having to scrape through the website looking for it. Taking screenshots on an iPad isn't quite as straightforward as it is on the iPhone. Yes, it's the same combination of buttons, power button and volume up, but because of the way those buttons are positioned, especially on the larger iPads, it can be really fiddly. A much easier method is to just swipe up from the bottom left of the screen. It works whether you're in portrait or landscape mode, and as soon as you do it, the screenshot is captured and you're taken straight into the editing tool where you can crop, mark up, or zoom in as needed. But you do need to enable this gesture first. So head into Settings, tap Multitasking and Gestures on the left, then scroll all the way to the bottom. Look for the setting called Swipe Finger from Corner. Here you can choose whether the screenshot gesture happens from the bottom left or the bottom right corner. You can even assign a different function entirely, like creating a quick note. That's actually how I've got mine set up, with screenshots from the left and quick notes from the right. Or if you prefer not to use this gesture at all, you can turn it off completely. If you use your iPad with an external keyboard, whether it's a Magic Keyboard, a Bluetooth keyboard, or even your Mac's keyboard through Universal Control, there's a really handy shortcut that lets you view all of the keyboard shortcuts available in the app you're using. Just press and hold the Command key, and a window will appear showing a full list of shortcuts specific to that app. In many apps, you'll also see a tab bar at the bottom that lets you swipe or tab between different categories. So in the Mail app, for example, you'll find shortcuts for Mail, Editing, Mailbox, Message, Window, and View. It's a really useful way to learn what your keyboard can do in each app. In the Books app, there's a really handy feature called the Line Guide, which can be great if you find it hard to stay focused on just one line of text, or if large blocks of text feel a bit overwhelming. To try this out, open a book in the Books app and look for the little menu button in the bottom right corner. It's the one that looks like 2 lines with 3 dots underneath. Tap that, and at the bottom of the menu that appears, you'll see the Line Guide icon. It looks like 4 lines with one of them outlined. Tap on it, and the Line Guide will appear across your screen. In the bottom left corner, you'll now see the Line Guide button again. Tap it, and you'll get options to control how much of the rest of the screen you want to dim. You can choose none, which doesn't make a huge difference to be honest, or you can pick low, medium, or high, depending on how much you want the surrounding text to fade into the background. To move the guide itself, just tap above or below it to shift it up or down line by line. And when you're done, just tap the line guide icon again in the bottom left and choose Turn Off Line Guide to go back to normal reading mode. Apple now lets you set your default apps on the iPad more easily than ever. Just open Settings, scroll right down and tap on Apps. At the top of this next screen, tap into Default Apps. This gives you access to 8 categories where you can change the default app. So for example, if you want to use a different email app, tap Email and select any compatible apps that you've already installed on your iPad. From then on, whenever you create a new email, it'll open in the app that you chose rather than Apple's built-in Mail app. You can also change the default app for messaging, phone calls, including iPhone call forwarding and call filtering, your web browser, translation, password manager, and even your keyboard. And for keyboards, you'll also be able to enable any additional ones that you've installed from this screen. So there you go, 10 tips for the iPad that I reckon most people have no clue about. What about you? Any in here that caught you by surprise? Or any that you think should have been included? Drop me a comment and let me know. And as ever, if you found this video useful, do please consider leaving me a like and subscribing to my channel for more content like this in the future. See you on the next video.